And look, Alistair Clarkson started his first week on the job at North Melbourne. Chose an interesting day to do it, given Amy, quote unquote, via a statement, formalised her decision to abstain from the process, declaring it unsafe. Who knows where that investigation goes from here? Certainly, a resolution by December now appears long odds and might well rage on for some time.
Just was thinking the other day. So we've heard from everyone at the Kangaroos, and that they've been a club in turmoil, and I know we've spoken a lot about Sonia Hood and what she's had to go through, and Brady Rawlings has been front and centre more often than not, fighting the fire front, if you like. We've heard a lot from David Noble through the year, and even on his exit, he was still talking to the members or his former charges. I haven't heard from Paul Roos. It sort of fascinates me a little bit that we haven't. And do we need to?
Do we?
Well, I think we do. If you're going to hold that role at the club, I think the fans are entitled to know what actually happened. What couldn't they get right? What couldn't Paul Roos in his mentoring role with David Noble?
He's a consultant. He's a consultant off-site.
Yeah. So
do we need to hear from? Why should he be there?
It's all care, no responsibility. Is that what it is? I mean, it's a significant financial investment with these people.
No, not going to bat for him, Bonnie, or defending him, or even if he needs to be defended. But there are full-time people employed by that football club on site throughout the course of the year. Paul Roos, to the best of my knowledge, is
most of them are no longer there.
He's part-time and in Hawaii and available over Zoom.
Isn't that the discussion? What? Let us in. Tell the North Melbourne people who've basically paid your wage what the challenges were, why you couldn't get right what you thought you could. You come into a challenging environment, we understand that, but that's why you get these opportunities.
And he was big for David Noble, but he wouldn't be the first person to tie himself to the wrong mast, so to speak.
Not many have survived the last few months. So why? I think you're entitled to some answers.
Now, he was also re-signed at the start of this year. So initially, I think North Melbourne, when he was initially employed, envisaged that he would be in Australia more often and around the club more often. Obviously needs to split his time between here and the US. But then they renegotiated his contract, to the best of my understanding, at the start of this year, knowing that he was still going to be working remotely. So they made that decision, North Melbourne, and the plan was for him to work with its executive team, its board, its admin, the young coaches, even the emerging playing leaders, where he would, impart his leadership advice and some mentoring skills as well.
Do you think that it'll be the last of the part-timers, if you like, the consultants from the outside?
I hope not, because
it's very difficult to perform your function from the outside looking in.
Only North Melbourne knows whether it's worth the investment or what the investment is. So a lot of figures get thrown around and they're hard to justify and validate. But only North Melbourne knows whether the investment has been worth the return. But I hope not, though, because I like the club.
You couldn't say that this has been. I mean, let's be honest. The club has never been in more crisis than what it's in right now.
Yeah, that's hard to defend. That's hard to defend. But what role would Paul Roos have in that? I mean, what share of the blame should he carry?
That's
is what
why
I'm
I want to
asking.
have the discussion with him. Let's talk about it.
Is he down the order when it comes to this? Surely he is. He's not the one making.
How can he be down the order?
He's not the one making the decisions day in, day out on the future of that football club.
He's putting the direction path in front of those
for those
people.
who are there, not for those who should be going and who should be coming in. But anyway, I hope not, because what I wanted to say was I love the clubs looking for the extra 1%. I love the clubs going outside and the soft cap has copped an absolute battering. So I love the fact that clubs are willing to look outside, and part-time has been a necessary evil for some clubs.
I'll get the boys to see if we can get him next Friday. We can just ask him these questions.
He's normally really good with his time.
Yep.
I think he'd be happy to come on, to be honest. Maybe it's one for you and the Volcano when he returns. So, hey, the Delisted Free Agency window opened yesterday, Kingy. So we mentioned the initial signings that had taken place. Francis Evans, of course, from that speculative pick at the Cats a few years ago, now at Port Adelaide as well. And Fergus Green's AFL career has been resuscitated by Hawthorn after a season with their VFL affiliate Box Hill this year. I also wonder, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with Dan Hanbury, who's had something of a change of heart when it comes to retiring, interest from the Gold Coast, and has been for some time. Now, Hanbury, Dan would have to reciprocate that, and perhaps ultimately he won't, but I reckon there's an itch that he's thinking hard about scratching there. And some other big names, Riley Collier-Dawkins is out there. You might have seen on the news last night, who's training really hard at the moment, hoping he gets another crack. Pretty high pick at Richmond, and never really was seen to get a proper look in. And then they've obviously reinforced that midfield since then. So he's up for grabs. Sydney Stack as well. Riley's former teammate, Mitch Wallace, Lam Stocker, Quinton Narkle, Jed Anderson, and Tom Phillips, to name a few.
The top three would be, you'd think, in terms of discussion, Hanbury, Stack, and Anderson.
I reckon Stocker's worth a crack too.
Yeah.
Just because, look, I know he's had his challenges and his issues off the field, but that's an untapped. I think there's more to find out there. I think he'd definitely be worth a punt. There's so many avenues for clubs to go down now that you've got a list spot, you can get him in on the cheap. They're almost a free hit in a way. Now, has Liam Stocker got an engine big enough to play AFL midfield? Well, the jury's out, but maybe a club's willing to give that a crack. And I thought he held himself pretty admirably in the roles he did play down back.
The Suns is an interesting discussion. They almost need the off-field leader as much as the on. So I don't know where Dan Hanbury sits in that.
Well, his training appetite is said to still be there, and that is the stuff of legend. He would set a good example when it comes to the preparation, the diligence during the week, the recovery afterwards. He's said to be extraordinary, and that hasn't left him. So and it's always been the question in the last half of his career, if he can get his body right. But the way he finished the season, though,
he can kick the footy.
Was encouraging.
It's a beautiful kick of the ball. So maybe he's worth the punt.
He got the 3 Brownlow votes, I reckon, in his last game against his old club.
Yep.
In a loss. He's still got it.
He's still got it, you reckon? Gee, don't know if he's still got it.
He's got it in the sense that...
He can still do it, but I don't know if he's got it.
Well, I reckon he's still got it in the sense that he can fulfil a role on an AFL list, and he's up to the level if his body will hold.
So if you were the Suns and you had a choice of those guys we just mentioned, which way are you going?
I'm going to go with Hanbury.
Yeah, I'm probably Anderson before Hanbury, because I think he'll make their 22. He'll be a definite starter for them and be available more weeks than Hanbury will.
Well, something's been bothering you, Kingy, that you wanted to get off your chest.
Well, no, it's a nerve-wracking time of year, isn't it, for players returning back to pre-season training.
Don't come back overweight.
Don't come back without running some sort of personal best. And we'll hear a lot about those over the next few weeks.
Oh, the PB.
We're into PB season.
Oh, no, that is nauseating, isn't it?
I think what is nauseating to me, the most useless photos of all time, are photos of players just like lifting a weight or... just on the pec deck there, just sort of getting a little workout.
Why are they useless?
It doesn't really tell me much. Give me, if you want to talk about their pre-season, give me some information. What are they running?
They don't release the times either.
I know. This is my point. Why not say, well, this guy ran for the 2K, he ran 6:30 today. Last year he ran 7:05. He's improved markedly. And give us some more layers. I want layers.
Nathan Brown was on before, actually. He tells one of the great pre-season stories of running when he cut the corner at Princess Park and Plough was up in the tree. He returned back. He got put in the Fat Club.
Hang on, though. And the corner of Princess Park. Look, you're legitimately taking off about 10 metres. That's all you're doing.
No. There's a section.
No, there's the water.
No, there's a section. There's a section to, well, you've run it plenty of times. The section to the northern end. Yeah. So if you're facing, down where the water is. But there is a decent section you can cut off there. I reckon you can cut a minute more.
Minute?
More. Yeah, it's a decent chunk. He cut right across the grass.
I never found that.
Because he was on his second lap and he thought, there's no harm in this. I'll just, I'm already last. I mean, I'll still be last, but at least I'll just, won't keep everyone waiting. Cut across.
Asked him.
Just hear the oi, and there's Terry Wallace up in the high branches.
Up in the trees.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. You're probably right. What's more pointless is the holiday photos. I don't really see the points of clubs sharing those. But I like people are interested in what the players look like when they come back.
What they look like. Yeah, but,
yes.
Yeah, yeah. But
still talk about Bucks' pre-season photo.
You do?
No, they do. Not me.
You said.
They do.
Who are they?
The punters. They.
No, I question the validity of just the photo. I want information.
Yeah, okay.
Who's improved from what to what?